While history may repeat itself at the conclusion of Season 5, currently there are still some major questions that have yet to be answered. In today's video, I will take a closer look into the possibility of Unique and Kanan's hidden alliance, while also breaking down a subtle hint that we got in Episode 7 that confirms my theory from my last video about Snaps and Pop paying off the crooked cops to take out Famous. And there's one specific thing that we all may be forgetting when it comes to what we know about Breeze that I will go further into later on in the video. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. Please like, comment, and subscribe for all things within the Power universe. Just as I predicted at the start of the season, Unique is under the belief that Rock is responsible for using Kanan and Ronnie to take him out. Even after Rock told Unique the actual truth about what happened, he still chose to not believe her. We saw Unique tell Rock that he's back to take over everything that he lost, and that he's coming to kill everybody that she loves. This is the moment where Rock realized that Unique was responsible for all of the hits on her business, and for the death of her attorney. Unique's New Jersey muscle Akbar and his crew sent a strong message by running down on all of the blocks to get the word out that Unique now runs all of Southside. I believe that Episode 7 laid the foundation for Rock and Kanan's showdown for next season. When we saw Rock inform Marvin, Kanan, and Jukebox of Unique being alive, we saw Kanan become real critical of Rock for not killing Unique. Rock didn't want to make any moves until she found who was backing Unique, and Kanan told her that she was slacking. We are slowly seeing Kanan push away from Rock every episode, just like we saw with Tariq and Ghost. I always felt like history would repeat itself with Kanan eventually taking out Rock, in order for him to fully become his own man. And it seems like this may be the direction that they could be going in for Season 5. Especially after Kanan saw Rock paying those 2 police officers, which led to Kanan believing that Rock killed Famous. Currently, everything seems to be crumbling for Rock. She ends up finding out from Stefano that the New Jersey crime family is backing Unique, while also finding out that Unique and Quan are working together. Stefano doesn't want to interfere, and is becoming impatient with Rock after hearing that her inventory is low, while Unique seems to be taking over. Things are really not looking good for Marvin as well, as he continues to dig himself into a deeper hole with Stefano every episode. The moment when Stefano told Marvin about the guy from Howard Beach whose body got pulled out of the river, this automatically made me suspect that this could have been the guy who owed Early Tyler money. Marvin had a look on his face like he knew something. We then saw Stefano tell Marvin that Rock messed up her partnership with Quan that led to Unique sliding right in. Stefano attempts to have Marvin flip on Rock by telling him that the only way to prevent blood from being shed is to get Rock out of the picture. But Marvin didn't go for it. This is the first time that we have seen anybody go off on Stefano the way that Marvin did, and I get the feeling that Marvin may have just sealed his fate. It's possible that Stefano could sell Marvin out to Phil Russo and the New Jersey Italians for Sal's murder as an attempt to avoid a full-out war. And this could explain why the episode description mentions Rock and Lou but not Marvin. We're already deep into Season 4 and Marvin's death would definitely be the push that Jukebox needs to be all in. Now, as I have said before, I think that Unique might have revealed himself to Rock way too soon. Unique could have easily made his presence known on the streets of the South Side without having to make it known to Rock that he's alive. And one of Unique's main weaknesses that could end up causing for Rock to get the upper hand on him is Pranessa. After Unique revealed that he was alive to Pranessa, he tells her that the South Side is about to get smoky, and brings her to a new apartment, which had a striking resemblance to Breeze's old apartment, but I'll get back to that in a second. While Unique told Pranessa that she has to stay in the house until the heat dies down on the South Side, I get that feeling that Pranessa will end up leaving anyway to go visit her mother. And this could lead to Rock catching Pranessa and using her as leverage in order to get the upper hand on Unique. Now, just as I predicted, Berilla's robbery ended up going wrong in Episode 7, after Berilla's crew ended up breaking into the label executive's place, only for it to end in a shootout. And Berilla ends up finding out that Lowell wasn't even in the house at all. In my opinion, Lowell knew that Berilla would eventually try to rob him, which is why he had that family rent out his house instead of staying there himself. It seems like they are slowly building up the feud between Lou and Berilla, and I think that Berilla will end up doing something that could ruin Lou's opportunity with the label, leading to Lou killing Berilla. 7 episodes in, and it still hasn't been revealed who's behind the death of Famous. Kanan begins to suspect that the police killed Famous, but I found it awfully coincidental that Snaps and Pop appeared on screen in the next scene directly after Jukebox tells Kanan that she suspects someone paid off the cops to kill Famous. In my last video, I predicted that Snaps and Pop paid off those crooked detectives that were seen leaving the restaurant as Kanan entered in episode 3. Snaps and Pop likely didn't want anyone else to come in between their business with Kanan, and once they got word that Famous was snitching from those detectives on their payroll, they likely paid them to take Famous out. And if you look really closely at the trailer for Season 4 that we got at the beginning of the season, Snaps and Pop can be seen meeting those same officers on the rooftop. I think that it will be revealed within these next 2 episodes that Snaps and Pop were behind Famous's death, but Kanan likely won't find out right away. And after Kanan saw Rock paying off those detectives, he's now under the belief that Rock got Famous killed. This will only further intensify Kanan's problems with Rock, building up for next season. Now, one thing that we all saw coming was OC stealing the money that Kanan had stashed in the storage unit. But the main question that I have is, why did Kanan automatically assume that it was OC who took the money, when he clearly wasn't aware of OC following him to the stash spot? This further raises the question and goes back to my theory about Kanan and Unique having a secret discussion off-screen. Because we still never found out why Unique was leaving out of Kanan's apartment building earlier on in the season. Could Kanan have used Unique to find out what information OC knows? It's possible. I think that Kanan will likely find OC in the next episode and take him out, and we could possibly get a flashback scene showing Kanan and Unique's conversation that we never saw. Now it's hard to tell whether or not this is Unique and Kanan in this photo with Snaps and Pop, but there's a chance that this could actually be them. For the last 3 seasons we have all speculated who could be Breeze. While some believe that it could be Unique, others think that Breeze is an entirely new character that will be introduced. But one thing to take into consideration is the assumption that we all have made when it comes to Breeze. Let me explain. Now we have seen Tommy, Ghost, and Kanan all speak on Breeze in the past, and we assume that Breeze is a name that everyone on the South Side knows. But what if Breeze was just a nickname that only Tommy, Ghost, and Kanan used? It's definitely something that we can't fully rule out just yet. And while I am still 50-50 on the possibility of Unique being Breeze, I do believe that there have been subtle hints throughout the season. But last episode may have been the biggest clue so far. When Unique brought Pernessa to the new apartment, I immediately noticed a similar resemblance to the same exact apartment that Kanan brought Tariq to in Season 3, Episode 8 of Power. Notice how the kitchen is a few feet away from the front door just like it was in Power, and how the living room is basically in the same place. You have to realize that Breeze's apartment that we saw in Power is not gonna be exactly the same as we saw it. And not to mention, even the layout of Unique's new apartment is similar to Breeze's apartment that we saw in Power. Some people think that just because we haven't seen Unique watch Jeopardy that this automatically rules him out from being Breeze. But in reality, Unique just got back on his feet, and we have to give the show time to let things play out to determine whether or not Unique will actually turn out to be Breeze. Currently it's looking like anything could be possible. Rock could end up killing Unique in the finale, and that would put an end to all of the theories. But on the other hand, if Unique makes it out of this season alive, and we see him and Kanan team up with each other, I believe that this could also confirm the theories. I'm curious to know whether you think this latest episode confirmed Snaps and Pop being behind Famous's death. Do you still think Marvin will survive this season after his last conversation with Stefano? Let me know down below in the comment section. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe for all things within the Power universe. See you all next time in the universe of Power.